The long layoff from the pitch is a reason as to the uncertainty of the best approach to take. The restrictions of groupings and closure of gyms would have affected the top footballers in Guyana being able to access proper training facilities.
We're having discussions that centered around two things primarily. The first thing is, what can we do between now and the 31st of December, the time that we have? What are the objectives? Do we need to focus on a single tournament? Should we be focusing on football in a festival format where we can touch each and every age group, boys and girls? What do we do? Because we're simply coming out of an extensive dormancy period, and maybe the opportunity is here to just reactivate on-field activity across the widest possible spectrum of the Guyana football family. So those are the decisions that are taking place internally with the technical staff.
The new COVID-19 measures state that sporting events are permitted subject to the approval of the Minister of Health and in compliance with any guidelines that the Ministry of Health may issue. Every person or organizer hosting an approved sporting event shall be responsible for ensuring that the measures under the notice, as well as the guidelines that the Ministry of Health may issue, are complied with. According to Forde, based on what requirements they will have to meet, they can then decide on the best way to restart the sport.
What measures and protocol will we have to engage in order to do whatever we decide to do safely? As we all are aware, there continue to be a rise in the positive cases for COVID-19, and we have to be very mindful of that. I'm sure that when we submit our application to the task force, they would want to have a careful examination of the measures that the GFF will be proposing to take. Those measures obviously are related to what we do. If we're doing a tournament, what level of spectators can we have? Will we be able to have any spectators at all? How do we keep the players safe? Because most of our players are going to be traveling in public transportation at a high frequency to get to the venues. Once we are through with the internal planning and technical discussions, and we have an idea of the decisions that we're likely going to be taking, then we will open up that conversation to a broader community of stakeholders.
While there's great desire to see football again on the pitch in Guyana, the GFF president said all must be conscious of the current situation and operate in a practical manner.
There is no shortage of enthusiasm. We all want to see some on-field activities. Every player wants to play football. I want to see a good football game. You want to see a good football game. But we have to be mindful. I don't believe that when the task force lifted the restriction on sport activity, they expected that sporting federation and association would just recklessly engage into competition and other on-field activities that would put their members and players and officials at risk. So we have to be mindful of that, and we have to temper that enthusiasm. Clearly the objective is to get something happening. What we do will be the critical decision and how we do it.
In September, the GFF had stated they remain hopeful it can organize some on-field activities before the end of the year, with the annual season-ending Super 16 Cup being the target. For the newsroom, Akim Green.